We spent the last week in the small town of Punta Arenas, located in the Pacific side of Costa Rica in the Gulf of Nicoya. We had one life on a mooring at the Costa Rica Yacht Club, giving us easy access to explore the town. We enjoyed seeing the fishing fleet, experiencing a professional soccer match, and sampling the frozen treat called a Churchill. But then, it took us 2 whole days to run around and complete all the paperwork required for us to leave Costa Rica. Now that we were cleared out, it meant no more excursions on land, but we had a couple anchorages planned out to stop and rest while on our way north before our 2-day sail to Honduras. We pulled off the dock at the yacht club and there was so much current we actually were like pinned to the dock, so we needed to use one of the pangas to help pull us off. We left right before high tide. Maybe we should have waited until slack tide, but we wanted to make sure that we gave ourselves enough time to get out in case we had any problems. There is an 8-foot tidal change in this area, and at dead low tide, some areas in the river nearly dry out completely, so we had to time our exit accordingly. So we rolled out the head sail, and we're just sailing along at like 4 knots. There's 8 knots of wind, so it's really nice right now. Well, as soon as we got underway here, we just came through this trash line, and it's so sad to see all this plastic and stuff. I don't know, what can we do to help our planet, you guys? So we're sailing just a few miles to the Anchorage for the night. We heard some of our friends are there, so we're gonna go over and say hello and hopefully spend the night over there and have some sundowners with them. We dropped anchor and swung by Calico Skies to say hi to our friends, Bill and Grace. We haven't seen them since we left the Caribbean side of Panama, so we had some catching up to do. So yesterday we got in and we had some sundowners with our friends, which is really cool. But this morning I woke up and there's a fish kill happening in the bay from the red tide. It's really sad to see. So literally if you look across the bay right now, there's just fish popping up everywhere. It's crazy.
Well, we're here in Isla San Lucas, and we've been hanging out with our friends on Calico Skies and Delos. It's been raining every afternoon, though, and we've started to notice a lot of water coming into one of our cabinets from where our chain plate attaches. So we don't want to let that one go unchecked, so I'm going to loosen it up and pull that chain plate and then rebed it today. The first thing that I've done is I've taken these cotter pins out of the turnbuckle, and now I'm going to mark the turnbuckle so that when I loosen it, I know exactly where it was to put the tension back to exactly how it was. Okay, so now the shroud is detached from the chain plate up on deck, but because we have these rigging rods that go down to our hull inside on the bottom of the chain plate, I need to loosen up this one as well. With everything removed, I can now pull out the chain plate. It just needed a little cleanup. Then I put down a new layer of 3M 4000 caulk before putting it all back together. Place to tighten. A quick look up the mast to double check that the tension was correct, and we were ready to sail once again. The chain plate is rebedded and we tightened the rigging back up to where it was. So now we just need to put the stuff back in the cabinet, and hopefully all of Brooke's food storage and plates and wine glasses don't get rained on anymore.
So there's Delos. And there's Calico Skies.
Tonight we're gonna set sail for Bahia Samara.
Should we hoist our dinghy?
Let's hoist our dinghy and get ready.
All right, we're just finishing up a few more things here before we leave. I just made the snuggle pit and got our life jackets out, and we're gonna pull anchor around 8 p.m. We have 69 miles from where we are now to Bahia Samara, and the reason we decided to leave at night is because there's not been much wind, but we've noticed a little bit more wind during the evenings, and also because we want to arrive in Bahia Samara around low tide, because we've heard there's a bunch of rocks that are under the water at high tide, and we don't want to have any problems getting in and getting anchored. But sounds like Yuri's ready, so better go. There's actually a little bit of drizzly rain and some lightning in the distance. Good? Wow, it's raining like crazy. Things were going nice and easy for us. There was like maybe just like 10 knots of wind and everything was going great. But then a squall came through and we had our main up, and one of our battens popped out of our main and was hitting our stay in the back and it was gonna break off, so Gary had to go out and push that back in. And it was a little adventurous for a bit, but now the wind's back down to 15 knots, so it just spiked up for a bit, but it's pouring outside. And we have about 20 miles to go. We've been making pretty good time. So right now we're doing like 5 knots. Sailing's always exciting. You never know when shit's gonna hit the fan out here. But anyway, it's under control now. It's just like a brief second of a little bit of craziness. And it's actually my watch right now, but Gary's letting me stay dry for a bit. Hopefully the squall passes soon and then I'll start my watch. We only have about 5 miles to go. We're currently just motor sailing. The wind is right on our nose and it's only about 6 knots. So not much sailing to be done, but I put out the fishing lines a bit earlier and no bites. But the water here looks a bit clearer, so I'm anxious to see what it looks like inside the bay. I'm not sure how this anchorage will be. We've heard it's a bit rolly, but that's been most of the anchorages in Costa Rica. We made our way into Anchorage, hopeful to have a peaceful day and get some sleep. It is 5:30 in the morning and we've been rocking and rolling in this Anchorage all night. It's quite uncomfortable. There's stuff flying everywhere. So we don't know. We'll figure it out as we go, but there's no sense in us being awake and sitting here rolling around. I'm actually feeling like a little squishy, and I typically don't get sick. So we're gonna pull this anchor and get moving. It looks like our friends are leaving there too. It was not a good night. Forward! Neutral! This is insane. We are underway, and just wanted to tell you guys what the conditions are like right now. So this is actually the first time that we've left in Anchorage because the conditions were so bad. And it wasn't dangerous, but it was severely uncomfortable. And I mean, we couldn't barely stand up inside. I'm laying down talking to you guys because I feel a bit squishy. I was inside trying to secure some stuff in the boat, and it was a little rough. There's about a 12-foot swell coming in, and that against the current has made these waves kind of like stack up a bit. So we'll just see how we go. We just want to get to an anchorage that's maybe a bit more comfortable for tonight so we can get some things done on the boat before we do one of our longer sails. But yeah, today is just all about survival. You know, we're just not feeling great. It's hard to move around the boat and get stuff done, so we're just kind of lounging and taking it easy till we get to our next anchorage.
Breakfast would be great, but there's no breakfast today, that's for sure.
No breakfast this morning. I think raisins and crackers are on the menu for today. We have a bit of a transmission leak. We've had it for a while now, and we just keep babying it and adding transmission fluid, but this morning when we left, we didn't have time to check it and top it off. So Gary's actually down there now. It's calmed down just a little bit. But right now we're just drifting, bobbing out here so that Gary can get that transmission fluid taken care of. You can see how much the sea state has calmed down. Maybe you can. It's still a little rolly, but nothing like it was earlier today. But yeah, it's about 10 a.m. now, and we're still not quite sure where we're headed.
Our transmission leak is a bit of an issue because when we motor for a long time, the level gets too low in the transmission. So to try to add fluid in these seas is a bit of a challenge, especially with a very hot engine. But don't really have a choice. I couldn't do it in the Anchorage this morning because it was even rougher in there. So as soon as it got nearly calm enough, I went down and added about half a quart of transmission fluid. So that should get us where we need to get today. But we really need to replace that seal.
Well, at least we're out now and it's calmed down a little bit, so that's cool. This morning was pretty unnecessary. That was pretty aggressive. We were like, what the hell was this? It seemed angry that day, my friend. Yeah, and is one life behind you guys? They're right behind us. Doing okay. Pura vida, bitches.
Pura vida.
Pura vida.
I think it's safe to say that pretty much all of the sailboats that are here in Costa Rica right now are getting a little worn out by it. But yeah, so Delos is up ahead of us, and Calico Skies is in front of us as well. It's been tough. We haven't slept in 2 days, so we sailed the night before, and then last night we were up all night just because it was so uncomfortable. We're just looking for a place to get some rest. So I'm gonna give it a go. Gary and I are hungry. And since we don't have any food pre-made, I'm gonna try to make grilled cheese and ramen noodles for us. Let's see how this goes. Well, that wasn't so bad. Well, I just woke up, and I woke up to this really nice, calm Anchorage. Let's see where we are. So much better. There's Delos. There's Calico. So we'll see how it goes overnight. But this seems a lot better than where we were. It seems a lot better than where we woke up. A good anchorage makes a huge difference. After a bit of a bumpy day, we wanted to put our feet on some solid ground. So as the sun set, we decided to head to the beach for a bit with our buddy boats.
Goodbye, Bill. Goodbye, Grace.
It's so long to everyone for now, but we will catch up to our buddies when we arrive in Mexico. We just pulled the anchor about 15 minutes ago. This morning I finished up food prep and we uploaded our video. Yesterday we relaxed and just hung out. We are headed to hopefully Isla Murciélagos. If we're not able to anchor, we will keep going. So that's why we wanted to make sure the boat was all prepped and ready to go, just in case we need to keep going onward to Honduras.
and we're on our way to Islas Murciélagos, which we're hoping we're able to dive there, but we got to get there and see if we can anchor and see what the conditions are like. If it's not good, we'll just pull up the anchor and keep moving, or not even anchor at all. But yeah, we've got some wind today, so we're actually sailing. We're doing about 4 to 5 knots, and we didn't leave until about 11:30, so we might need to motor the last couple hours just to make sure we get in there before sunset. But it's nice to be sailing again after doing so much motoring, so I'm gonna sail as long as I can.
Feels so good to be sailing. We've motored so much up and down, or up this coast, that glad we've got a little bit of wind today. We have about 15 miles until we're able to peek into the anchorage there in Isla Murciélagos. Gary, go Gary, go Gary, go! Go Gary, go Gary, go Gary, go! We're flying today, it's awesome! Gonna rain?
It is raining.
It's gonna rain on us.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Should we reef?
Not yet.
Okay.
We'll wait for the 30-knot winds to hit us, then we'll try to reef.
No. Well, it never rained on us, so that was cool. But we're coming into the Anchorage here, and the rocks and the mountains here are just incredible, especially with like the mist and the fog around them. So it looks really cool in here. Hopefully we won't be bothered by any park rangers and we'll be able to stay the night. We're a bit concerned about what the Anchorage will look like inside. There's a bit of swell out here right now. But if we're able to stay, we definitely want to. We just saw some dolphins on our way in and brought in our head sail, so we only have about a mile before we drop the anchor.
But we're really close to this island, and it's still 200 feet deep right here. These rocks just come straight up out of the ocean bottom.
Smells like fish in here.
It does smell fishy. It's nice and calm in here.
It is. It's much calmer than I thought it would be in here.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. It's weird, it got deeper now. That's not what the chart shows. But according to the chart, we should be in like 15 feet right now, but we're in 50 feet.
Gary said the anchor was dug in to sand, so that's awesome. But the only thing that concerns me are these rocks right over here. We're a little close, but it's pretty deep everywhere except this spot here in this anchorage. So we don't really have many options, but we backed hard over to the rocks and the shallowest we saw was 20 feet. So it seems like we're in a good spot here. Just can't believe how beautiful it is here. It's so weird. Like, it's dry, but it has a little bit of greenery, and just the ruggedness of it is really cool. It looks like there is a ranger's house over here on the hill, but we don't see any boats or anything around. So I guess we'll see if they come out and collect any fees or tell us that we need to do something differently. It's like what I thought it would look like when I dreamt of going to the Pacific. really exciting.
So the anchor's in 25 feet, and it is like a softy, sandy bottom, like kind of mud/sand. So it looks real good. It's dug in real good.
Okay.
We've got 125 feet of chain out.
Okay. So are you comfortable here?
Yeah, I mean, that's 5-to-1 scope.
What's the water temp like?
It's not cold, but I wouldn't say it's warm either. It's comfortable.
Okay.
And it's kind of snotty, but I could see the anchor on the bottom. In 25 feet, I could like barely make it out.
Yeah. So are you
I'm
gonna
gonna swim behind us and check out these rocks.
over there?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that our anchor is situated, we're gonna have a couple sound dinners in the hammock, made with our finest liquor on board One Life. Thanks for coming along with us as we experience all the ups and downs of sailing in Costa Rica. We hope you join us next time as I do something I've never done before, and we get underway to Honduras. Cheers, everyone!